Hello from ProSpeedflying. Today we are making a video about speed flying cliff launches. It will not be an instructional video because we already made it. You can check it. There are English subtitles. It will be a series of examples which you can learn and maybe you can apply to your cases, to your cliff launches.
This is the easiest launch on our menu. There is a little shelf under the push point, but it's small, it's not a problem. I can easily jump over it no matter what. And I have a nice long run leading to the exit, so I have time to inflate my wing, to control everything and to commit once I'm sure about everything. The run to the launch is quite good. It's a little bit inclined, it's not flat, which is great, but there are some grass, so you have to pay attention where you step, otherwise it's a really good run. Enough time for everything. I did a trial launch and it's really complicated to remember where exactly I should run because everything is the same, so I put a little stick to mark the launch point for myself. Погнали!
The meteo wind for today, the forecast was a tailwind, and actually it was a real tailwind. We were waiting for the windows like nothing or maybe 1 meter tailwind, and the tests were making a couple of practice inflations. And as you can see, the inflation in these conditions on this grass with this inclination, it wasn't very easy. What we do usually in this situation, we open the trims for 1/2, so the wing inflates faster and you don't care about the lift power because you have a cliff. With bigger wing sizes, you should be more careful on this terrain with these conditions. Probably you need to wait for better face wind or at least nothing. Also, you definitely should practice the inflations on the takeoff, so make the practice runs to see how your wing inflates, to know what to expect and not to have doubts at the cliff, at the no return zone. In conclusion to this first cliff launching example, I can say that the only technical part of this launch is the quite flat running part, and together with the high grass it takes a lot of speed from you and you can't load the wing well. So just wait for the good weather conditions. No wind or light face wind.
Today our launch is a little bit more technical than the previous one. What is good here, you have a really clean cliff that drops down without shelves and bushes, but you have to keep in mind that your corridor is around 1 meter, so you have to be really precise where you run. You have orienters, for example this bush and this rock mark the edges of your run, which is really convenient. And we have a really nice longish runway that gives you an idea to control your wing, to stabilize it before you commit. So you have a place to stop if something goes wrong, and you have a place to get some nice speed. And here we have straight line around 10 meters. Me personally, I like to have my line as straight as possible, so I would put my wing exactly here. Further it's not possible, it goes down. So this is the last point, I can put my wing straight into the launch. However, 10 meters is not a lot, so if you want to have a longer run, it's reasonable to place your wing a little bit there. Like that, you will have additional 10-15 meters, but in your run you will have to turn in order to launch. So it depends on your personal preference and also on the wing size. This is exactly east launch and we are 9 in the morning. It's too late. Thermals are already a bit strong and they mix with gusts from different sides. So with this shorter run, you want to be here earlier, like 7:30. You want some maybe meteor east if you want to have a little bit of wind, or you want nothing, like zero wind conditions, to have a nice safe launch.
This takeoff is not crazy, but definitely not easy. You should keep the course of running, so you are not jumping on these ridges like this. I have a little stone pyramid here to show me the direction. Otherwise, it's easy to lose because you are running sideways and the cover is not the best. And actually this is the top of the mountain, and everywhere around we have some cliffs and the slope going down there. In my opinion, the best wind direction, wind conditions will be the light meteor west, southwest directions. But sometimes when the wind is going from the north, it's also hitting this mountain and it's turning around and going here into the face and helping you to inflate the wing safely. We have not very good cover, it's not grass, it's kind of loose rock. Sometimes it's big and it's easy to fall. Sometimes it can be slippery with snow. Also, the slope is going down there, but here it's kind of flat, sometimes even uphill. So like that, it's hard to run just this direction. So we need to find some direction to inflate down the slope and then speeding up and turning a little bit into the cliff. I chose this part for the as an exit point because here we have a little bit of a downslope going into the exit jumping point, and also I have this place in between that ridge, the left one, and the big flatter in there, so I'm jumping like that direction. Also the final part is a little bit smoother without any big rocks, so I can really speed up in this no fall zone. And also I have enough space to inflate and stabilize the wing. Actually the first part where I'm inflating and stabilizing the wing, it's not so important. There can be some rocks because I can stop, it's safe. But the final part should be clean. You should be very careful when placing and preparing your wing on these rocks, because pretty often the lines go under the wing and can be caught by sharp rocks, so you can cut them during inflation without even noticing. When the wind is strong and blowing more from the south direction, it will hit the wall here and it will definitely produce some rotor here. The more thermally is the wind, the more dangerous rotor will be just on the edge in your no return zone. So to understand how this rotor works and where it is, you should make practice inflations, and also you can maybe throw some grass just to see where it started rotating. So if it's close to the cliff, to your jumping point, and if it's strong, you probably shouldn't use the launch. Today we have a bit more technical cliff launch here. It has shorter running inflation part. It has flattering in this place, so you should be very careful after inflation to control your wing without collapses when you are going on the flat part. The acceptable wind conditions on this takeoff for me are the directions from west to south, and the strength of the wind should be from 1 to maximum 3 meters per second. So no wind conditions, it will be very hard to control this flattering part, so you're controlling the wing from overshooting. And everything stronger can produce rotors. So yeah, sometimes you can inflate your wing and you can stay and ground handle and then just jump from a cliff. but these conditions should be very nicely checked for the rotors. You place your wing just here, before the steep part of the slope. After you have this a bit tricky steep terrain, because sometimes it's wet and you really need to have good grippy shoes, but it helps you to inflate the wing. Here you have the start of the flattering. You should be very careful with the toggle control of your wing, not to let it overshoot and collapse. In case of trouble, you still can stop here, but the decision should be very precise with timing. And after, you have kind of a cliff running part before the launch, this direction or that direction. This direction is cleaner, there is no shelves, nothing, just a cliff. Here you have some bumps, so you need to find the best direction. And also you should be careful if you're flying the small wing, you should be careful about this shelf. It's quite far away, like 20 meters. But if you don't have running speed here, after the inflation and you just jump in without a lot of running speed from a cliff, the wing can go down easily these 20 meters. So you should be careful. If you want to launch this direction, you need to have running speed. The mistake which I did a couple of times is that when I did practicing inflations, I was careful and slow at this first part of running, and the wing works really well. But on the real inflation, I was rushing a bit too much, and I got a little bit of overshooting and not collapsing, but line slack on the flatter part, which is quite scary. So practicing inflation should be the same as your real launch attempt. Today we are at the final location from our set, and this one is the most technical cliff launch. So let's check the main characteristics of this takeoff.
This is not really a clean cliff launch. We have the push point somewhere here. You need to keep the corridor very nicely because it's not nice anywhere. After it gets really steep, but it's not really a cliff, it's just a really steep slope where you cannot run anymore. So you need to have a lot of speed here, you cannot just drop off it. We have some running part leading to it that starts somewhere from the backpack. It's short, the quality of the run is not really good. You need to think where you put your feet, but it lets you acquire some speed until the push point. This is what we have on the top. It's not really a plateau, it's just the top of the ridge. From here, as you can see, this is the backpack of the beginning of our final run. Until this point, you can inflate from somewhere from the pole. Unfortunately, this part is a little bit uphill and the distance is really short. So you have another 6 meters maybe until the beginning of the run to inflate your wing, to control it, and to start the final running part where you cannot stop anymore. The good thing about this launch is the quality of the surface here. It lets you run nicely, but don't really count on getting a lot of speed because, as you can see, the slope is uphill, so you can barely inflate your wing and then drop into the run. Taking this all into account, you need really good weather conditions. We launched here with like 3 meters per second face wind. That lets you inflate the wing more or less comfortably and then have a nice run, but it doesn't let you ground handle. Ideally, you want 5-6 meters to be able to inflate your wing and to have it above your head nicely, but in that wind force you already need to check rotors and the conditions on the line.
This time we didn't catch the ideal conditions for this cliff launch, and actually we have an option to fly to the other side with a slope launch and face wind, but as you see, it's covered with the clouds. So today we are hiking down.
All the aspects that we mentioned in this video are applicable to every launch, but the more technical the launch is, the more important they become. Any launch can be easy with ideal conditions, but ideal conditions is a rare thing, so if you do this kind of launches, just be ready to easily make a decision to hike down.
We are putting a lot of effort into making these videos, so if you want to support our work, you like what we are doing, the best way will be to buy gear from us at ProSpeedflying.com, or you can take part in our speedflying camps. That's all for today. Fly safe and see you next time.